Everyday heroes, extraordinary vision, stories and inspiration from our world to yours. This is Unlocking Secrets for Women Radio. Hey, Gail Watson, President and CEO of Women's Speakers Association, and my wonderful friend. Welcome to Unlocking Secrets for Women.
Hey, Candace, love it. Love all that you do. And you look fantastic, by the way.
Oh, thank you. So do you. A little makeup, a little lighting, a little other stuff.
Other stuff.
Pulling things together, whatever it's going to take.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Hey, so let me just tell you what an unusual time this is in life. And wow. And you already have a whole organization that is already online. And we're going to chat about that and what you're offering people because it's so good. But first, let's just chat about you and me and how we first met. And I remember how. Do you remember how?
I do.
Then I'm going to let you share your version.
I was putting on some local networking events and reached out to you as the star you are to inspire and influence and make a difference with our audience a few times. And we grew from there because you're an amazing speaker. Oh. And you're a lot of fun, and I actually love how you would capture the audience. Your energy is so vibrant and powerful. So that's how we first met. I was behind the curtain and you were in the front of it.
You're so sweet, and thank you so much for that opportunity to have invited me into those events. They were a lot of fun. I remember I had either just come back or just finished recovering from a fracture on my ankle, I think, and was telling my story.
That's right.
Yeah, it was kind of funny.
Yeah, you have an amazing story.
Oh.
I remember my jaw hit the floor when you were speaking, and because I had no idea of it. It went so deep. Wow. And so raw. That's what I'll never forget that moment. Actually, out of all the speakers that I've worked with, you were one of those, in my top 5 of really being moved and hitting so raw and deep. I'll never forget that night, actually. I know exactly where it was, and I remember your words, and I'm going, I can't believe what she's saying.
Wow. Thank you. My life is pretty transparent. I've just chosen to make it transparent, much to the chagrin of some of my children who get kind of worried. Right. But I just try to be respectful. But yes, it's part of my story too. Other people's involvement. I got a story piece in there too. And so sometimes it's tough to know what those boundaries are. And I've made some mistakes, sharing maybe things that I shouldn't have. And I recognize that, but hopefully, yeah. And Gail, I'm telling you what I've seen, first of all, during some very critical times in my life when the television industry absolutely tanked. And this was before I met Jim. And the industry tanked, the market went upside down. I really was homeless for a little while. Not a lot of people know that, but you do. And you were so unbelievably supportive and there for me during what was very humbling time. I was not my best self. I was really sideways. And you would invite me out for lunch and treat me to lunch or dinner and build me up and stand there with me. And I will never forget how much I'm grateful to you for that wonderful love, support, and friendship that continues to this day. And I love you for that. And thank you for who you are.
Oh, thank you. I love you too.
And we have forever. Yeah, friends forever for sure. Now, I want to talk about what you are doing. So people need to, I know they've heard about what you're doing, but for those that haven't heard before, I'd love you to share about your platform and what it is that you do. And then let's move into how you're helping people right now during this, what we've said over and over. Nobody wanted this to happen to anybody. It's heartbreaking for those that have lost and those that are suffering. But there is something we can try to pull out of that suffering and heartache. And I want to hear that. So go ahead, Gail.
Okay, well, that's
women speakers.
well, and here, Candace, you and your audience are going to be the very first to know, because quite frankly, the last 72 hours, I've been in meetings with our team and online. Yes.
Yeah.
That I've been in meetings with the team, and I'm just so pumped and jazzed about what's coming. So okay, I'll get to what's coming, because that's literally hot off the press, and I hope I'll be able to articulate it in the best way possible. But just to give you an overview, for those of you who don't know, Women Speakers Association is a global online platform where women come to connect, collaborate, and mastermind with one another. We serve women from around the world, entrepreneurial women, authors, speakers, authors, experts, who are choosing to use speaking or the platform of that one-to-many to market and grow their business. We started in 2011. So we fast forward, we're in our 10th year, and we have completely evolved, now offering for women publishing services, podcast services, and we've just introduced our global business connectors, where women are able to own a piece of Women Speakers Association and and have ownership of a platform in their own city. So really hot that's going on. Let's see,
How many countries are you in? How many countries are you in?
120. 120 countries. So, and it's beautiful. It's now, because we're an online platform, this stay-at-home thing, everybody I work with, we have an amazing team of over 15 people collectively, and they're in all different countries from around the world. We meet via Zoom all the time. I'm on Zoom probably 6 times a day, and have learned the art of working at home. Have done so when I was in corporate as well. That dates back almost 20 years. So I mean, that was happening then too. But it is a challenge, because now I've found in my neighborhood people who are now at home are, just ringing me up like this morning going, hey, how about if I pop by and can I do this? No, I'm working. No, I'm working. I'll call you after.
Gail's not doing anything at home. She's just a leisurely little housewife.
Right.
No, she's just dealing with the world. She's just talking to the world all the time.
Yeah. So I've actually, while I don't like the virus and its impacts it's having on people's lives, I do have the appreciation of the time that where it's put me personally is in a nice break while people have kind of slowed down a little bit and they're retooling. I was just sharing with my husband earlier today, this is like if you have a rental condo or something, it's like taking it off the market for 2 months, or 3 months, renovating it to put it out back in the marketplace for hopefully a greater value. That's what you would do in real estate, right? Anybody who's done flips and things like that, you buy, you renovate, and you re-emerge. So the conversations we've been having with the team these past few days it has been about that. We have started new conversations. We've literally gone, this is an opportunity, right? This is an opportunity. How do we want to re-emerge? And that's really important. And what we want to put out to our members is that we have to be in a place in our businesses to go, okay, we're not locked in forever here. We are coming out of this thing. But the question then comes to you, how are you going to come out of this, right? How do you want to come up with this? This is your power. You get to decide. So it's an opportunity to really reflect, reset on what you want to do, and then to maybe reinvent, to reemerge in more in a way that aligns with you today.
That's very good. And for a lot of people, you were mentioning when we were just doing our little brief talk that there's some understandable, people are panicking a little bit,
Yeah.
and it's an unprecedented time. We are very fortunate to live in Canada. Not that other countries aren't great, but we are very fortunate to live here. Tell me about your views on those that you've been discussing with that are, struggling with the panic.
Yeah, we were talking about this morning, and the name came out, the panic pivot, because people are making decisions in panic mode, in fear mode, and that's not necessarily the best place to be making your decisions.
No.
You are still in business. You have a long-term plan, or you should have, or you have it in your head, and you want to stick to this. Now, it is the opportunity to course correct, but it is not the time to make decisions based on fear, and you got to react and respond. So we want to differentiate between reaction and responding. So it's important to stick with your direction and your brand, because the one thing you don't want to do is upset your brand, right? If you've built a long time building your brand or establishing it, to make a really sharp right hand turn right now would be devastating for you. So we want to we've been working on ideas and programs of what to bring the right resources right now that are for our membership today, to make sure that we can really serve those needs. So that's going to be really, really important for people to come through this. The other thing that I think this time is doing, Candace, is it's really shedding light on business. And it's really shedding light on those who, if you've built that business just sporadically, or just without true foundation, this is where you realize that those businesses that crumble, that were not built on foundation. For example, your legal's in place, your insurance in place. I mean, this is life happening, and that succession planning. And when I say succession planning, I'm talking about, what if you were sick? What if you had a diagnosis that took you out of the game for a year? What if you all of a sudden had to jump out of your day-to-day life to support elder care, for example? And what's in place to keep your business going? What if there's an earthquake? What if this is life happening? And we have to have all these pieces in play to make sure that our business is built on a solid ground. And so if you find yourself not in that place, this is the time to really take the time and make sure you rebuild this business, put your business, and get a good foundation underneath it.
No, that's excellent advice. I just interviewed Patricia LaPena from Legal Shield, who was talking about what small business is offering, and exactly the same wording, almost identical to what
really?
I'm saying. And I love that, because you guys don't know that, but I know, been talking with you and her, and that is good, solid advice for any time in our lives. And I love what you're saying about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is a time if you're finding yourself in a place where your business is slowing down a little bit, and I totally understand that that our activity level in our membership has changed. Okay, so it hasn't slowed down. It's just there's all of a sudden this immediate need has come into their world. So it's changed how they're engaging and what that need is. So it's about responding to help support that need. At the same time, we want to make sure, I've had several conversations with many of our members, and there's a real fear out there with people, and we don't want to diminish that. But we want to help you keep present, so that you don't go into fear, so that you don't, that you're not in panic mode, so therefore you're not making decisions that are in that panic mode. We want to keep you present. We want to keep you in today. We want to keep you, it's okay. We're not panicked, so please don't you panic. We will get through this together, and I think that's one of the biggest things that's being highlighted to me is community, and it's one of the big lights and directions that we are absolutely responding to, is the power of community. And I've always known about that it's been the power of community that's taken me through some really tough times in past. As we talked about, you know, people just coming into your life and supporting you and bringing you through, and that's community. And what I've realized with Women Speakers Association is, how can we enhance that even more?
Mm-hmm.
And therefore, we've come up with these community connect and collaborate events online, small little groups of 3-4 people that gather, where we can be close, intimate, and really come together and bond, and so that you're not alone. And when I hear about all the psychologists speaking about how to stay away from fear and panic, it is when you're feeling not alone, and when you're around that group of people who inspire you, motivate you, and are having positive influence in you, and staying positive. And you've always been one of those people, Candace, where you're always positive. Every time you talk to you, you're laughing and positive, and you'll get through anything. If there was ever a little engine that could, it's you. You know?
You're so sweet.
Okay, you've proven it. And so whether it's a virus or life upsets, I mean, you're a fantastic demonstration of going through life that way.
Oh, you're very kind, Gail. You're very sweet. Yeah, the thing is, I love what you're saying. It's the through it. So, you know, no one is immune. Nobody is immune. Everybody struggles, you know, everybody
Yeah.
poops. And
Oops.
it poops, and everybody struggles, and there's just no way to get away from that. And I think I love what you're doing for your members. I love what you're offering from a business point of view, the collaboration, the communication, which you, long before this happened, were already online around the world and showing that new model of support for one another. You've been doing this quite a long time, long before this new, you know, pandemic started. You've been doing this.
I know. It's that's why when I almost feel, when people have been talking to me and people go, well, you don't sound panicked. I'm not.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm truly not. And again, I'm not just, I don't like this virus, and I don't like how it's upsetting families for sure, and the illness. And I do, if I think about that, put myself in the future, like, what if I, you know, if I play the what if I get it game, that makes me scared. So I need to stay present in where I'm at today, being reminded of of what's going on, what the only things that I can have impact and influence of and make a difference in today, you know, that really helps stay grounded. Keeping in positive conversation is something I'm doing. I'm really taking this pause time, I guess a mental pause almost, to really reassess conversations I'm having. And if I hear some negativity come in, and I mean, they just can't be tolerated in my mind, because I don't want to go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah.
And I found myself over the last couple weeks before, when it was all breaking and coming into North America, I was like, oh, this is not good. And I was attached to my Twitter on my phone, reading the headlines and reading the news feeds, and it was scary. And to make conscious effort to break away with it, had to make conscious effort of the type of conversations I wanted to have with, and the type of people I wanted to have. And I'm not afraid of it. And I remember, it was last Sunday, actually, I was having coffee, sitting just in my living room, and I was scared, feeling afraid. And I thought, come on, Gail, right? You started this from nothing. If it all went away, right? Could you rebuild? Of course.
Yes.
Of course. And I said that with confidence. So, and that's what we have to remind ourselves as entrepreneurial people, that we built something from scratch already.
Yes.
The worst that happens. But those safety nets, I guess why I'm feeling so calm is I built on solid ground. I invested in a lot of legals up front. I invested in insurance up front. And I've surrounded myself with a very strong team that together, because I'm not doing this alone, together we stay motivated and reassure one another that, hey, we're here for each other. You know, I'm not saying we're not going to have hard days, but we're here and we go through it together.
That's very well said, Gail. And it is really true. We all sort of struggle with a little bit of fear. And I remember for me, when I first started hearing about it, and I've got 25 years in healthcare, so I really understand. I was working on a unit in a local hospital with one of the SARS cases here in BC. And I was like working on that actual unit. And I remember thinking that I needed to be wise and proactive and making sure I washed my hands and practice the aseptic techniques that are all a part of their life. And anybody that knows me knows that I'm like a clean freak anyways. My kids call me Monica, and they have almost their whole lives, which is a joke. But Monica from Friends, you know.
Oh.
Yeah. I know. But everybody's like, we trust anything you cook because it's going to be like perfectly clean. But yeah, it would be. but it is, you know, I remember thinking to myself, okay, this, you know, my healthcare comes into play, and I'm like, I am not afraid, but I have a very deep respect for what's going on, and I'm going to listen. And it's like the world is going, hello. And you're like, I'm listening. I am listening. And I've got, you know, saying to others, I have got healthcare workers in my family. My sister-in-law is a doctor in Washington State. My, you know, nephews are nurses. My niece is the front line in a dental emergency clinic. My son is a manager in healthcare here. So, you know, we see it, but it's that healthy respect that we need to have. And, you know, without getting too crazy, the truth is, you know, we are mortal. You know, we are mortal, and coming to grips with how we live in the reality of our mortality on a day-by-day basis is super important, you know? And you know, you've lost parents, I've lost parents. We've had dear friends close to us that have had sudden losses. And this is part of being a human being. And we have to be able to center ourselves and, like you say, pull your thoughts and address them. You know, whatever we feed grows. And it's not about mind over matter. It's about recognizing what we're feeding into ourselves and how that's going to help us. And it doesn't mean that we have to be in denial. You know, I love how you said, you know, you were sitting there and you felt afraid, and then you had a talk with yourself. And that's something that we have to do. Dr. Russell Kennedy, who I interviewed and posted his interview, the Anxiety MD, I mean, you are so bang on with exactly what he's saying is how to process that anxiety. And that can go for not just our personal lives, but our business lives as well.
Yeah, it's with the anxiety side of things. So I've always known so you have to, someone asked me, were you afraid for your health? And I said, and I was even telling my kids this, I said, no, because I trust everything I've been doing for the past few years, the lifestyle I've been living. So I'm going to put trust in that. Now it's being put to the test. I'm trusting that everything I've been doing will support. But one of the biggest pieces is one piece that I've always, over the past few years when I learned about this, is negativity or anxiety causes stress in the body, which releases, I don't know the medical term for it, neurons, whatever. It releases chemicals in your body that will feed or promote perhaps some bad things in our body. Whereas on the flip side of that, a positive energy or laughter and happiness is almost like an immunity to that and boosts us, and it doesn't allow us to go into that part of us that gets focused on, what if I get sick? What if I get sick? Well, what if we stay happy and go, I'm not going to be like, and not even have those thoughts come through, just repel that. That works for me. And so I think it's finding what works for each, works for yourself. You know yourself best, right? So it's what finding works for you. But I just know negativity causes me stress, then I internalize, and then that makes me not present because that puts me in the what if, right? So if I can just,
rabbit
I'm
hole.
having a great time, I want to go for a walk, and so that's my conscious state right now, is to make sure that that's in play.
And I love what I saw you post on your Facebook page, on your personal page, where you had a significant distance between your neighbors in this circle. And I loved it. I mean, it was just, you guys were like you probably were yelling at each other from the.
Yeah, we were. It was hard to have conversation.
But, it was like you had your drinks and your little snacks and blankets and chairs.
We even ordered pizza.
I love it.
So we were just supposed to go out for a little, like a cocktail hour thing. And then it started getting darker and it started getting colder. So someone brought out their heaters onto the street. And then we started getting hungry. And just someone said, hey, wouldn't it be great if we could order pizza? And we went, why can't we?
Yeah, no,
it's just so random. So we had to go, one person had to go pick it up. We found a kid in the neighborhood to go pick it up. But we stayed apart. We had a 6-foot stick and we were measuring, and it was, but what wasn't captured in that picture was the amount of people that were out walking and bike riding, and they would do a double take and look, and everybody laughed. And the more people would come by and just talk. And it was really, in the 18 years I've lived in this street, I've never experienced anything like it. And again, what was showing through was community.
Aww.
I didn't realize how many people, and it was everybody was really respectful, social distancing, walking, biking, and people were coming over and talking, and they go, where do you live? Where do you live? Oh, we live here. I was like, wow, I would love to do this every weekend.
Oh, that's so awesome.
And that wasn't shown in that picture, but yeah, that was the most beautiful experience ever.
I love that you did that so much that I said to Jim, we need to, text our neighbors. So we have 4 that are sort of in this little group, and just like meet you at the end of the driveway. You're like, you be at your end, we'll be at our end. You bring your own wine and your own appies, and we'll yell at each other across the street. But I just thought that was a great idea. We got a little, I think it's a $49 portable outdoor heater that we got with a $50 gift certificate. So basically it was free. And it's just a little backyard heater, and we can just put that in the middle of the road and maybe have 6 or 8-foot sticks with marshmallows on the end or something. I don't know.
Well, someone started asking questions, and we went around in a circle and answered, and we just talked about how it was impacting our kids, because all our kids grew up together in this neighborhood, and they're all young adult, late teenager type people, university kids, and it was really amazing to catch up and just hear everybody's lives and how everybody's doing different things, but how yet we're still connected. So I mean, it was even powerful conversation.
Aw, that's amazing. Gail, you certainly inspired me. And it might be too cold tomorrow night, but we've already booked an online Zoom quarantine wine party tomorrow night with a couple of friends on Zoom. So,
nice.
Yeah. So we're going to do that. Well, Gail, thank you so much for your wisdom, your insight, your contribution that you make literally to the world, and your Women Speakers Association, which your website is there. We can see. I'm going to have some links to them at the end of this, and we'll post it on our social media, and you can share it. And to all our sisters around the world, We are here for you. We know you're all going through it. And Gail is a fantastic resource. We'll help you with whatever you need. And for those new members, people that are looking to be a part of a new organization to them, although WSALive.com's been around for a while, women speakers.
Well, actually, this is, sorry, that's the website for our live events. That was just the poster I have right now. But you can go to womenspeakersassociation.com. So the full name, womenspeakersassociation.com. And there's a speaker success plan that you can download. It's a guide, but if you download it, it's free. But that gives us a way to stay in touch with you too. I would love to invite you to a Connect and Collaborate event online. It's a, you know, just like I said, very small if it's something that fits for you, just if you want to get connected. It's something that we want to do for women around the world, just to keep you connected. There's not, you don't have to be a member, nothing like that. So the best way to get connected with us is just go to womenspeakersassociation.com and download that plan.
That's awesome. We'll have that link available. Thank you, Gail Watson, you amazing woman. Give our love to your hubby and your kids. And we will talk with you soon.
Okay.
Take care.